So now that I got my non-spoiler review out of the way, let's get down to business. So this is my spoiler review for Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and yes, I did say spoilers, so if you have not seen the movie yet, please go see it now, because I don't want to ruin this movie for you guys, because there are a lot of surprises in this movie, and I'm not going to shy away from any of them. I will be discussing in length and detail this movie. So click off if you haven't already, because we're going in, and it's going to be one hell of a journey for spoilers. We start off the movie with Poe and Hux sort of having like this little debate back and forth about, it's like a jokey kind of thing, and they're basically going after the First Order. The First Order's coming after the Resistance hard, which is very Empire Strikes Back-y, but not entirely. But Poe loses a lot of men during this first mission, and yeah, it was really bad at first. But you know, you get this really nice scene with Rose's sister, and she kills herself to drop these bombs, and it was very Rogue One-ish, if you ask me. But you know, I mean, same studio, same movie, so they're not ripping anybody off. But it was very Rogue One of them to have her sacrifice herself, and then you see Rose crying much later with the other half of the necklace that she had. And that was really nice and touching. So right off the bat, you kind of get some emotion with Rose. I dug that. I really like that whole aspect of it. This is why I said in my non-spoiler review I really was unexpected for Poe in this movie. Like, I didn't think he would have such a huge role, but right off the bat I'm like, wow, Poe's really kind of an idiot, but like he's doing the right thing, but with very bad outcomes, and he's thinking with his head. It reminds me a bit of Thor. Like, you know how in the first Thor movie he's like, you need to be worthy, you can't just think with your fists, you can't just fight your way out of this, sometimes you gotta sit back, you gotta think what's the best thing to do for these people. And that's kind of what Poe is going through in this whole movie. He kind of wants to attack and go after them, blow stuff up, when really sometimes you can just kind of stealthily get out of there and go. Which, I like the reveal at the end where Poe was like, yeah, he was kind of doing everything wrong, and like Holdo and Leia had it under control from the very beginning. Like, they always had this remote planet that they were going to go to with the hidden rebel base crate. They were always going to go there, and I really like that Poe kind of had that realization, like, yeah, let me just kind of think about that more. I like that. That was really good. So yeah, Poe was great. I really loved that whole thing. Now let me lead into that with what Poe had Finn and Rose doing. So I'm going to get all this out of the way before I get to Rey and Kylo and all that stuff later. Out of the way first, I'm going to get all of my gripes out of the way. Finn and Rose, so Poe sends them, or he allows them to kind of sneak off and go infiltrate the main Star Destroyer base thing, and sort of like make sure. I don't entirely understand the subplot as well. They're trying to get this hacker to sort of get them access to the ship so they can cut off like detection from the Resistance. They don't want to be. They want to just kind of sneak by. That's what I gathered from it anyway. I honestly, I'm gonna be real, I kind of checked out like whenever it cut back to Finn and Rose. I'm sorry, but when I said in my review it leads nowhere, it doesn't lead anywhere, because by the end of it, DJ, the hacker, Benicio del Toro's character, is irrelevant because he just betrays them, and then they fail in their mission completely. They completely fail, and then they get saved by BB-8 in an AT-ST, I think, and then he just frees them, and then that's it. And then they go back to meet up with Leia and them, and then I'm just like, what was the point of this entire subplot? There was no need for it at all, really. Of course I like Finn and Rose as a couple, and moving forward, I mean, I guess I never really been big on, I don't really care if Finn and Poe have a relationship, or Rey, or anybody for that matter. I don't care about relationships in Star Wars unless it's Han and Leia. That's all I cared about, ever. I never cared about any of the Padme and Anakin, didn't care. The romance has never been the angle that I looked at Star Wars from. Of course, would it be kind of interesting to see Kylo and Rey get together? Absolutely. I'm down for that. And I did get those vibes during the movie, and I liked that a lot. And then I got the vibes at the end with Poe and Rey, and I'm like, Sure, but I don't care. Like I don't. This is not a thing for me. And if we get a love triangle in the next one, I'm kind of gonna be annoyed. I'm gonna be like, really? Poe, Finn, and Rey are gonna be in a love triangle, or even Rose, Rey, and Finn? I don't care about any of that. I'm sorry. I just want to see the story progress. So Finn and Rose go to Canto Bight, which is this casino world. And while I dug the whole casino and everything like that, I thought the casino was really cool, but it felt a little bit too human to me. There were a lot of creatures in there, don't get me wrong, but everybody was kind of just a person, and the actual hacker that they were looking for was there, and it was like Justin Theroux, I think. I didn't know this until I read something after, but he has this little flower thing, and then they're like, oh, look for the flower and you'll find him, which, by the way, the Maz Kanata scene is pretty horrible. I'm going to get that out of the way too. Didn't mention that in a spoiler-free review because obviously it's a huge spoiler that Maz Kanata's in the movie for 2 minutes. But that scene it felt like Battlefront. It was really bad. I was like, no, this is not good. But there was like 2 minutes, so I didn't care. But it was nice to see Maz again, sure. Whatever. The actual hacker, I was like, okay, so they didn't get him because then they get arrested, and then they get Benicio del Toro, who has like this stutter, and I was like, that's a really weird character choice, and I'm surprised the director let you do that because I hate it. At least it's something different in Star Wars, you know, he has this stutter, but I'm like, you're not a good character. I did not like him. And of course, like, it did mimic kind of like the Lando betraying Han and Leia in Empire Strikes Back, where he kind of betrays them, but it's just like, oh my god, I don't care. And then Phasma comes out, and I'm like, holy shit, forgot she was in the movie, and then Finn and her have this big fight, and then the fight that's in the trailer, which doesn't really move much beyond that trailer shot, which is unfortunate, really. It's not that much of a fight at all. You see Phasma's face. You see her eye, at least. You see Gwendolyn Christie under there. And then she dies. She just falls off the ship into the fire. And I was like, okay, so she's gone now, right? She's completely, like, they didn't explain how she got out of the garbage, but I don't care. It's not something that I was like, I want to see how Phasma got out of the dumpster. Kill her this time? Don't bring her back in 9, and then everybody's in the trailer like, oh, Phasma this time, she's gonna get it. And then she's in the movie for 5 minutes again. But yeah, so Phasma was a huge disappointment. I didn't mention her in my spoiler review non-spoiler review because I didn't care about Phasma, and I never did, really. I thought she looked cool from the first trailers for Force Awakens, and I was like, yeah, she looks really cool, but like, that could have been like a guard in the background. Like, I think the Praetorian Guards are really cool in this movie, and I'll get to that later, but I just thought, like, oh, Phasma would be like a really intimidating, cool, like, Boba Fett background character, but even Boba Fett has like more screen time than her in this movie, for sure, and she goes out like just as bitchy as he did, and it sucks. So let me get to the scene that really is kind of like, I'm iffy about it, because there's one thing that I love about it and one thing that I really despise about it, really, and that is when Leia gets sucked out into space. So first of all, it looked like a Marvel movie. It looked like Guardians, like in the first Guardians movie. That's what it reminded me of. And I'm like, okay, this isn't really Star Wars. I don't like this. Can we just stop? But I was like, okay, so they just killed Leia like halfway through this movie. Like, not even, like 45 minutes into this movie. That's really ballsy and weird and really kind of like, you guys are pushing the edge here. But then you see her hands kind of twitch, and then she uses the Force and flies back into the ship. Now, I love it because this is the first time we've ever seen Leia physically use the Force on screen, and I'm really glad we got to see that, especially considering Carrie Fisher's no longer with us. So I'm really glad that got to happen, but I think if you do that at all, and you suck her out into space, you either don't suck her out into space or you kill her in space. Now, yeah, okay, that's going to rub some people the wrong way because it's kind of insensitive to just kill Leia 45 minutes into the movie when we've been like, oh, she's filmed her whole movie, she's in the movie, and then she's in there for like 20 minutes. But I think if you killed her right there, you'd avoid a lot of issues moving forward in Episode 9, and you could potentially even give Poe a lot to work with dramatically. Now, I would say Vice Admiral Holdo is probably my favorite new character in this movie out of Benicio, Rose, and her. I thought Laura Dern brought a lot to the performance, despite how little she had to do. But she has probably like top 5 favorite scene in the movie where she goes into hyperspace through the enemy ship. That was amazing. That was so cool because it was silent, completely silent. You just see the ship get blown apart. That was incredible. That was really something. See, this is like the type of stuff that I'm talking about in the non-spoiler review, where Rian Johnson really does new stuff in this movie. Where I'm not going to shit on Force Awakens in this review. That's not what this is. But Force Awakens was a New Hope retread. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care how many people say, oh, you know, they just kind of repeat some plot points to refamiliarize everybody with the franchise, but that's about it. No, it is a remake of A New Hope, and I'm sorry, but there's so many. And sure, there are absolutely retreads in this movie of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but at this point in the 8th installment, you kind of expect like rhythms to start happening. It's bound to happen. In any Star Wars movie, you could say that reminds me of that in the original trilogy, and the only trilogy that I felt you couldn't really see many similarities was the prequels, and look at how horrible those turned out. But this one combined two just new aspects of the Force, and I really liked that. I liked that they pushed boundaries in this movie, took risks with Star Wars, and made it different and new. And I'm going to get to that later, but I really enjoyed that like a lot. I thought Rian Johnson really should direct Episode 9, but I'm glad he has this new trilogy. Now, I didn't particularly love the Finn and Rose storyline, as I say a million times, and especially the whole animal aspect of it. That was a little bit ridiculous. From the trailers, you think you're going to get Luke training Rey for this movie, right? No. Most of this movie is her trying to convince him to train her, and they have like 2 lessons. Luke gets scared, runs off, and then Rey starts like telepathically speaking with Kylo Ren through the Force, which is one of the things that that Rian Johnson made that was new, which I love. I love that they can have this physical connection, and Kylo can actually like get physical, like he has the reign from her side of the Force, and I loved that. Like, I thought that was so amazing. Then they're just trying to convince each other to join their sides, and then it all leads to Rey jumping in a ship, going to Kylo's ship, and they meet up and they go to Snoke's throne room, which everything about Snoke I really enjoyed, especially this next part. When then they go to the throne room, Snoke is, torturing her, doing what he's got to do. He's trying to turn her. She's not having it. And then Snoke says, hey, Kylo, kill her and prove your allegiance to me. Kylo turns Rey's lightsaber, which is sitting next to Snoke, and ignites it and slices right through Snoke. And then they proceed to team up, back to back, fight the Praetorian Guards. Oh my god, probably my favorite moment in the entire movie. The Kylo and Rey team up was incredible, all the way up until they break Anakin's lightsaber, which was insane. I loved every second of that whole sequence, and it was amazing, incredible to see. And then, probably actually like one of my favorite scenes of the movie as well is Yoda. I was so happy to see Yoda. Now, I've already been hearing, oh, Yoda looks very weird in the beginning. Yeah, I think they used the 2 puppets from the prequels and the original trilogy. I'm not sure though, but he did look very CG and weird. But as far as I can tell, he was a puppet that whole scene. And oh my god, I loved it. I loved how he was just like he was in Empire Strikes Back. He's back, he's this ghost, he's talking to Luke. And I love how he's talking with the Jedi text, and he's like, oh, page turners, those were not. That was incredible. And he's doing a little dance when he blows up the Force tree. I want to see it again just for that scene. I really loved that scene so much. And something that would have made me weep in the theater is in the beginning of the movie, Rey sees Luke's X-Wing in the water. I would have lost my shit if Luke just levitated the X-Wing out and finished the lift that he started in Empire Strikes Back that Yoda had to finish for him. Oh my god, I would have cried. I just wanted Yoda in the movie, and I got that. I'm really happy that I did. Because, I'm so happy Yoda was in this movie. So cool. But yeah, Rey goes off, they team up for a while. Kylo says, kill Luke with me, and then we'll start our own thing in the galaxy, which I've been hearing predictions about that as well, and that's awesome. I'm glad that so many people got these predictions right. Although, it doesn't ruin it, but it makes you aware of some of the possibilities in the movie. But yeah, Kylo and Rey almost team up and go kill Luke, and then they don't, and then they break the lightsaber. And then for the rest of the movie, you're thinking, oh my god, how's this movie going to end? It's still going. There's so much in this movie. It's packed. And then you finally get the whole resolution with Poe and Holdo, and Holdo kills herself, as I said earlier, and then they get to Crate, and then the whole end battle takes place, and I forgot about Crate from the trailers, and then when it showed up in the movie, I'm like, we still have this! Amazing! And then that was like the last like 20 minutes of the movie or so. And then Finn almost dies. Rose comes in and saves him. They kiss. I was like, all right, I don't care if Rose dies or not. And I really thought Finn was gonna have a really heroic moment and sort of make up for his stupid plot line in this movie and sacrifice himself for the Resistance. But no, it didn't happen. But I'm fine with that. I love Finn, so he can stick around. But Rose, I couldn't care less if she lives or dies. I like Rose, but I don't care. I'm sorry. So there's the big battle ensues, and then Luke shows up, and there's the scene that everybody wanted, at least for this movie, was Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill reunited, at least for one scene, and he gives her the dice from the Millennium Falcon. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It was so nice. And then Luke walks out with his lightsaber and confronts Kylo, and Kylo just shoot every gun at Luke, and they shoot the shit out of him. He survives. And they're like, how's this possible? Kylo goes down, they start fighting it out, and then he slices right through Luke, and nothing happens. He's like a hologram. He's projecting himself from Ahch-To, and it's, oh my god, that was like another one of the aspects of the Force that they changed, which I loved, was that he can project himself, but it takes so much energy that he dies. He's sitting and he's looking at the two suns, and he just vanishes away, just like Yoda and just like Obi-Wan. Oh, such a great... If he had to die, I'm glad he died like that, because that was awesome. I'm so happy that Luke died peacefully. But as for Rey, you know, she lifts the rocks, frees the Resistance, and now they're all in the Millennium Falcon going away. I don't know what's going to happen in Episode 9, because as I said, Snoke is dead, Carrie Fisher passed away in real life, and now Luke is dead. Is Luke going to be a Force ghost in the next one? What's going to happen? Is Rey going to complete her training? Is Kylo going to join the light side? Is Kylo just going to go full Sith in the next one? I really hope so. That'd be awesome. What do you guys think? Comment down below and let me know. What did you guys think of Star Wars The Last Jedi? I want to know. Let it go here because this is the spoiler review. Do not comment anything on my non-spoiler review. This is the spoiler review. Let's go. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.